collectors, today we're going to be looking at a recently released First for Figures. This in particular is Artorias. First for Figures will typically do a regular and an exclusive release which is exclusive to their store. I've gone and picked up the exclusive, which is what I'm going to be unboxing and showing you today. The exclusive comes with a bonus art print and 2 uncursed greatswords. It's 1/4 scale, standing at an imposing 21 inches, which is approximately 53 centimeters tall, and weighing about 10 kilograms out of the box. Starting with the box itself, it is a massive 83 by 55 by 33.5 centimeters. This is way bigger than anything I've owned before. The graphic design on the box is lovely and something that I would personally consider having out in the open. There is flavor text on the back describing Artorias, and a really nice addition. Unfortunately, there is damage on my box thanks to the lovely people at Australia Post. And looking at the bottom, you can see that I got number 14 for the exclusive. Next up, the polystyrene inner is embossed with First for Figures logo, Artorias' name, and the Dark Souls logo on the front. It contains an authenticity card, which is the standard for First 4, as you can go and authenticate your product on their website, which allows you to prove that, yep, you have the real deal. The card itself is basically the same as a credit card, all the way down to the embossed ID. Looking at the back of the polystyrene inner, it's actually embossed with the pose of Artorias, which is really cool. I haven't seen other statues go and do this. I left the initial unboxing and setup to Mr. Katsu. This was a gift to him and I wanted him to have the honours before starting this review. This is our first statue from F4F and his first polystone. The inner layout for the pieces is excellent. All the space is used effectively. A common bit of feedback while he was being set up was that he is very heavy. Now to the main attraction, Artorias is a breeze to set up. There are no instructions included, which I'm really quite used to being a staple these days, but if you use the box images you can easily tell how to assemble him. He comes in 5 pieces with the addition of 2 alternative swords. The base is huge. It is approximately 43 centimeters wide. To help illustrate the scale, here is a Kirby amiibo. Starting with assembly, obviously you want to have the base down. Grab the legs. The peg at the bottom is really thick and there is a metal rod in the right leg. There is plenty of support and it's really easy to slot in. There is absolutely no wobble. The belt is a separate piece. It sits easily and just along his hips. Once you have him on the base, just slot it in, make sure it's the right way around. Next, his top half. His torso, his head and his arms are one piece. Comes with a giant peg and metal rod again. And slotting it in is really easy. Make sure that the left arm is in front and it'll slot right in. If you have a look closer from the back, you can see that it is really simple even to disassemble. Just make sure that you are supporting the weight and you'll have no issue. The last piece set up, the sword. This one is the Abyss greatsword, which is the one that also comes with the regular edition, and is also the sword that he uses in the boss fight. The The corruption along it is fantastic. It doesn't look tacky at all. It also happens to be the length of my arm. The sword is attached to his hand, so there is no way to display it without the hand being visible. It connects to the statue at the wrist, and the sword's weight is supported by his arched back. The way this has been designed to set up is really smart, since you can't see the joints. Every join where he connects together is in a location where there would be a separation in the armour, so when you look at him, it's not something that seems out of place. The only issue that I've encountered while setting him up is that he has a little bit of wobble on the base. I don't know whether this is usual or if there are going to be a lot of copies that have this. However, he has got foam pads on the bottom, and I'll just be buying some foam pad that's in the same size and connecting it up to the back to help support the weight. Looking at Artorias' pose, he's hunched over, legs spread to support the weight, and his broken left arm dangling in front of him. This pose is slightly different to the norm, since his sword is usually held up over his shoulder rather than being supported by it. First for figures, Artorias' sword weighs about 260 grams. To have this suspended and supported by the wrist would have been disastrous, so this compromise was a great idea, especially since it allows for the alternate swords to be used. This pose really brings along that primal and animalistic personality that Artorias has in the fight. His outfit is true to the in-game model with some slight variation. Particularly, this is around his mid. But, believe it or not, the statue is a lot more defined than the model. And, in my opinion, a massive improvement. You can see the details a lot better, and you can admire it a lot more. The base is themed after the land of Ulasile. Having him on a base that matches the boss arena was a great idea. They use fake grass and fake moss, and this is really well done. It looks right in theme, and you don't need to worry about any fine pieces breaking. Overall, this base is great. It feels like a statue, it feels like something that you would display, and the theming is perfect alongside the corruption and the tiling matching the boss arena. So let's look closer at Artorias' details. In short, the paintwork is fantastic. There's weathering on all the armour. The sculpting is fine. It actually shows all the details, even down to the ringmail. This shows even on the undersides of his arms between the armour plating, and something that I wouldn't expect for Polystone to be able to do. One concern that I had was the material sections. The Polystones that I've purchased in the past don't tend to do well with these kinds of fabric textures. First four have done amazing. It's a bit thick as far as the amount of polystone used, but if it was any thinner, it would definitely increase the risk of breakage. So the compromise here is totally fine. The detailing on the cape is decent. There's less detail on the embroidery compared to the in-game model, which is a bit of a shame, because that's absolutely gorgeous. I particularly appreciate the attention to detail on the armour though. The slice down his back, cutting the cape and showing the armour underneath, the fact that they've included it is just mind-blowing. This attention to detail on his armour is a massive plus to the statue, and a testament to what we can expect to see from First for figures in the future. Artorias' plume is something to be mindful of. It seems to be the weakest point, and with my copy and a few others I've seen have come damaged. That said, the use of a metal peg was great. Because of it, I can still review Artorias, so good job! I've already contacted customer service, and I'll do a quick video update when everything is resolved so I can tell you about the experience, about the time frames, and show him in his pristine glory. Everything so far has been relevant to both versions. So, what's the benefit of getting the exclusive? He doesn't light up. So why else would people want this version? This exclusive is definitely for the Dark Souls fan. It's not about gimmicks. It's about getting more stuff totally relevant to Artorias. First up is an art print, which was illustrated by Studio Hive. The envelope that it comes in is thick cardstock, and the back is numbered as well. But really, that's not important. Let's look at the print. The paper used is excellent. It's not as thick as a business card, but it's thick enough that moving it around won't immediately result in a ripped print. I'm definitely going to be framing this with a double mat board. The print is numbered as well for authenticity, and has a very classy looking First for Figures watermark. It reflects really well in the light. In addition to this, the exclusive comes with two versions of the Uncursed Greatsword of Artorias. Both of these versions of the sword are from the game and are different stat versions. Those not in the know, both were included because a vote was done to ask which was better, and this resulted in a 50-50 split. So First for Figures decided the only option was to give exclusive purchasers both. How's that for service? You can see a difference in the scratch markings, which I personally love. Despite the swords being the same sculpt, the paintwork gives them both totally different feels. I'm personally a fan of the cleaner version. It's easy to change them over thanks to the hand being a part of the sword grip. Lift one out, match up the peg for the other one, make sure that's under the plume, and slot it in. For my very first statue from First for Figures, and despite the damage, I'm definitely impressed with the work. It was well worth the money spent, and they've gotten me very excited for the rest of the line. With Sif already set for a Q3 release this year, next will be Solaire for pre-order, who they've planned to match with Artorias and Sif by making him notably smaller. I mean, look at that size difference. Well, I hope you enjoyed the review. Remember to like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you next time.